At this point, I have taught thousands of people to draw and paint. They start off drawing like this, and then within months often are drawing as well as this. Hardest student to teach was myself. I'm Kenzo. I started off drawing like this and then figured out how to draw like this. Now, each student comes with their own mindset and approach in the beginning, and each one has pros and cons, and you are probably one of these 7 types. So let's start off with... So meet Eleanor. She is the impatient student. Every single drawing, she wants to get to the end. Oh, the perspective stage where you're setting that up, the proportions, the construction. That's boring. Let's get to the fun bit where it looks cool, right? So we skip, get to the end, and it's disappointing. And then you don't really want to do anymore. Give up, watch some TV. That was my experience with this anyway. And then in a learning process, okay, we need to learn this skill, right? Do we really need to learn this? Like, do we really need to do all these exercises? Just because artists have been doing it this way for hundreds of years. This is the modern world.
Are we sure we should be paying attention to these guys?
And all these exercises, they're not making any difference to me right now. I want change right now.
Remind me what I'm getting out of this again.
And then you do the drawings and you blame yourself for it. It feels like you don't belong here, right? Okay, but then one day, you are going to realize that all this drive to move forward and all this love of drawing and painting, but with that passion for going forward, is going to serve you really well if you can build up those fundamental skills. Because the great thing about these is that they make creating pictures way more efficient. Once you realize that going slower and setting these things up, yeah, it takes time to do the exercises to learn how to do it and to build the skills. It does, but once you've invested that, now you can go way quicker. So now I want you to meet Jason. He's a hacker. He's always looking for a little hack, a little easy way out, so you don't have to do it the proper way. You can just do this one thing and it just bypasses all the hard work.
Anytime I had a problem and I threw a Molotov cocktail, boom, right away, I had a different problem.
He makes a strong case.
So art students who are trying to find hacks, instead of learning how to draw a tree in terms of the fundamentals of the tree's form and all this kind of stuff, will go, oh, maybe there's like a Photoshop brush, a tree brush, and I'll just do that. And all these dummies will be working really hard on tree drawings, and I'll just have bought this awesome brush and it will fix everything. And actually, this isn't just in digital. You can have people in watercolors who are looking for like weird actual brushes that you can use for trees that just make it way quicker. In light and color, yeah, you can learn how light bounces around and picks up different wavelengths and things like that. You can do it properly. But for Jason, it's like, oh, maybe there's just like a digital trick here. If I'm using Photoshop, maybe I can just use gradient maps or something, and at a click of a button, it will be colored. Some artists are really great at finding these little efficiencies. But the reason that they can do it is because they already have those fundamentals dialed in. They already understand how to create a tree, you know, the hard way. They understand the underlying principle of creating the form, the lit side and the shadow side or whatever. And so then they just use that tree brush just to help speed up the little bit where they want to add a bit of texture to one area. But they have all these principles of design, of form, of light, and of color in their heads already that they've figured out the hard way, and they can do it the slow way. And then it's the same with the gradient maps. They understand how light works. They understand how to design the shapes of the shadow and the colors of the shadow, and they're just using these tips and tricks to help them do it a bit quicker. So now I want you to meet Chidi. Chidi is incredibly worried. Chidi loves the bit where it's like studying. Read this chapter of this book. Learn where this muscle attaches to that muscle, that kind of thing.
We're gonna have assignments and quizzes and papers. It's gonna be so much fun.
But art isn't just that. There's a moment in art where you depart from these concrete ideas and you start to gain intuition, and you start to think about your own taste and what you love, and you start to explore different ideas and go with your gut, and you start to think, I love this, and so therefore it's right.
I see how that might be fun. but exploring makes me nervous.
So there are these concrete principles and technical ideas, which is Chidi's like safety zone, but then Chidi's gonna have to explore, go out into the world and look for what Chidi actually genuinely cares about himself. And this is the part where Chidi really, really struggles because it's not concrete. It's about valuing what you are interested in. And this is the hardest part because it's so hard to externally verify.
What's happening, buddy? You have a crazy look in your eye and you're retreating into your shirt. You're kind of like turtling.
I really love students like this. They're so caring about what they're doing. They're doing their absolute best. And the only thing they're unsure of is themselves. And once they start to believe in their own artistic vision, things are going to take off for them because all that care is going to mean really great drawings and paintings, but it just need to have that faith in exploring what you care about yourself. So now I want you to meet Janet, the technician. For Janet, everything in art is about technique. Janet loves things that are logical and make sense and can be categorized, right? Everything can be broken down. So each artwork is a set of technical factors. If the artwork is good, all the technical areas are solid. And if all the technical areas are not good, it is not good art. Janet only likes good technical art. Every artist is on a hierarchy of technically good to technically bad. And this is all that there is. There isn't any humanity and personal expression about it. It's not about what I want to see the world through your eyes, the way that you see it. And then when you look at my art, you can see the world through my eyes. And through this, we expand our shared humanity together.
Does not compute. Does not compute.
I'm just kidding.
Now, as Janet starts to learn and understand that actually what matters is her own humanity, is what she cares about, then all that technical skill is gonna work so well for her. So she's in a great place, but needs to start to tap into this underlying like her soul basically, and to bring that into the work, because ultimately that is the part that actually matters, and the technique is just a means to expression. So now I want you to meet Tahani, the expressive art student. So for Tahani, everything needs to be a work of art. So this means Tahani doesn't want to spend time drawing boxes in perspective, doesn't want to do this unexpressive, uninteresting thing which is just technical exercises to build skills. For Tahani, everything needs to be amazing, mind-blowing. You can show it to people and it will change their life every single time.
Celebratory, reverential, bittersweet, upbeat, fun, and effortless. This is hashtag Tahani time.
The problem for Tahani is all that expression and stuff doesn't translate onto the paper unless you have skills. And the skills come from the down-to-earth, day-to-day exercises, that grind. I'm going to learn how to draw ellipses. I'm going to learn about value simplification all day, and none of it's going to look like a work of art. It's all going to be ugly, but I'm going to be building these skills. And then I'm going to go off and express myself. But with the skills in place, that expression is going to come out really, really well. So for Tahani, she just needs to sit down and do that hard work of the exercises while still nurturing all that expressive creativity. And once those skills are in place, that creativity is going to take off. So now I want you to meet Mindy. Mindy is an avoider. We've all been Mindy at times. So what Mindy does is she really loves art, wants to do art, but can't quite bring herself to actually draw. So therefore, what Mindy does is she will either go shopping for art supplies a lot and then put them on the shelf and not use them and feel guilty about it. Guilty of this. Go and buy lots of art books and look at them, put them on the shelf, and that's it. No drawing from there. Or looking up lots of tutorials, buying courses, and then never doing them. So I'm sorry for calling all of you out, all you Mindys out there, but I've been there so many times myself. And all that love of art that keeps bringing you back there, that means that you get that little dopamine hit from buying the new pencil or from buying the art book or whatever. All of that love and care for it is going to translate into you getting really good at drawing and painting if you can convert these activities into drawing. I think you're putting drawing itself on a pedestal. You're worried about the drawing as being like this big thing, whereas just watching tutorials and buying a pencil, that's easy stuff, right? I'm going to do it, I'm going to get a result instantly. If you just sit down and drawing, you're worried that the result won't be there at the end. But if you can say to yourself, the result is I did practice, and that's it. That is the goal is the process, is just to do it. And you reward yourself, you think well of yourself just for having done it. Then you can get that little dopamine hit, even if the drawing doesn't look good, you did something. So trying to swap out the retail therapy or the browsing tutorials little dopamine hits for just little dopamine hits from having done any kind of drawing is going to help you out a lot. So now I want you to meet Michael, the perfect student. Michael has been bad in the past, has been an avoider, has been impatient, has been trying to find hacks and tricks, but now is really genuinely trying to learn. And so for Michael, the key characteristics here are really tries to find solutions to all these problems, right? There's so many issues trying to learn how to draw and paint, but Michael is working his way through. Often feels like you're trying to find these things blindfolded. What, I don't understand this, it's really hard, but you keep trying and you take yourself as far as you can go. And then when you've got to the end of that, you ask someone who does know for help. And so when you ask those people for help, your questions are really targeted. It's not, sometimes I get questions from a student, an impatient student, who's just like, can you just like tell me how to draw, please? And I'm like, well, I've got like hundreds of videos about that and courses and stuff. So if you really wanted to, you could have just gone through those and found a lot of those answers. Now, if you go through those things, you will come up against roadblocks. And it's when you get to the roadblock, there'll be very specific things. I just don't understand, like, wait, is the center of the ellipse also the center of the circle? Stuff like that. These real specific questions that you're hung up on. And then you email me about those. And that's when I know you're going to be okay. When I get a question like, can you just like tell me what's wrong with this? Or something like that. Can you just like teach me to draw, whatever? It's like, I'm not sure you're really gonna go far with this mindset. Whereas when someone emails me and they're like, oh, the cloth is a light color, but it's in the shadow. And so it seemed lighter than this part. So when I'm doing my value study, I wasn't sure whether to put it into the light or the dark. Can you help me? And it's so specific because they've taken themselves as far as they can, and everyone hits a roadblock. Everyone falls into the pit of mistakes, right? Everyone's standing on the rake that hits them in the face. But the point is, they're trying their best to go themselves, and then they ask for help when they do fall into that pit or when the rake hits them in the face. Some students will fall into the pit and go, all right, I'm here now and I'm stuck. And they won't ask for help. And some students will just not even start walking and go, can you just clear this whole path and just make this easy for me? But the ones who keep going and then ask for help to get over the really hard bits, those are the students that I know are going to be okay. I set up our study group so that you could always reach out and get that help. So there's loads of resources, really concise and clear sequences of exercises, so you can take things forward yourself as best you can. You'll always know what to practice and how to practice it, and it's always going to be a bite-sized, doable thing. But even with that, there's going to be a roadblock. There's going to be a hole that you fall into and get stuck. And that's when you need someone to come in and help you out of it, which is why we have one-to-one feedback, live sessions, all kinds of opportunities to get support. So with my annual students, I'm doing one-to-one Zooms. We have a feedback space where you can post your stuff, get personalized videos. Come and check it out. The study group is awesome. All right, there's another video up on the screen. It's all about this idea of motivation and how you don't need it in order to draw. Check it out, and I'll see you over there.